The product that we're going to talk about is called ServicePoint365, and it was developed specifically for companies that are in, again, project-centric, team-oriented services business. And you can think of it as in the simplest sense, just to think about it right today, is you can think of it as a template that's already been created to organize content around a bunch of different areas that if you're in the services business, these are areas that you're probably already managing content in some degree, whether it be a file server that you have in the computer room that you're giving people maybe VPN access into, maybe it's a simple SharePoint environment already today that's kind of the basics but not what you really want. But the content areas, again, if thinking about services businesses, first of all, you've got content as it relates to your projects. And this is in the form of deliverables, diagrams. If you're in the construction industry, maybe it's progress, photos, site photos, all the different types of things that you have to be able to store, develop, and manage as it relates to the delivery of a particular project. So we have content area already crafted out to be that place where everybody goes to develop as well as manage and also find their project-related content. If you're out there winning projects, chances are you're having to bid them or estimate them. So we have an area already crafted which is around the management of the content around bids and proposals. We call them opportunities because depending on what industry you're in, you may have a different meaning. But this is where the estimates, the proposals, the initial communications from a document standpoint would be developed and would reside within the system. You've also obviously got clients, and you might have documents or content that's really more client level. Maybe it's not related to a specific project or a particular bid or opportunity. Maybe it's client level, and this may be in the realm of things like mutual non-disclosures or master services agreements or policies or practices or things that are more client level versus an individual project level. If you're a services companies, chances are you've got resources. Which is obviously the teams that are out there doing the work, and you're going to have project roles, which is really trying to match up the resources to the roles. And so we have a staffing center area that people can go in and request project roles, and then whoever is responsible for that can then go out there and search for resources and fill those roles. A lot of services companies also work with other partners, and these may be in the realm of subcontractors or contractors or vendors, and people that you need to collaborate with, share information with, get information from. And so again, we've already pre-cast an area that's designed for partners and be able to easily collaborate with them. And then, just a couple other simple things. I mean, having the need for like a centralized knowledge repository, where things like best practices and maybe it's OSHA training. It could be, a number of things. Having that centralized place that everybody knows to go look in if they want to find that kind of material. And then if you're representing solutions, let's say you're an IT type company and you have certain products or solutions that you represent, a place that you can store the template materials around that. So the ServicePoint 365 product, its intent is to provide an out-of-the-box environment that's already pre-configured around all these different content areas that a customer may have, and then give people the ability to get to it, whichever device they happen to be on, whether they're on their PC, or if they're using a tablet, or even get to it from a phone device, realizing that a lot of services companies are outbound in their nature, so they're not always going to be tethered to their particular PC. Here is the main user interface as you saw before in the slide. So we've got Real quick, Company Center is designed to be kind of a intranet, more design, which is general company information. Client Center, where our client information would go. Project Center, where our projects would go. Sales Center for our bids, opportunities. Resource Center, this is a little bit of free form. In what intended to be is a place that you can house your consulting resources and profiles and resumes. Some people have other systems that information already resides in, but that's the intent of Resource Center, is to have kind of that centralized list of here's all my different resources. Staffing Center is where we can go to add staffing requests, either for a project, or it could be a request for a pre-sales type of role. Maybe you need a business analyst to help on a particular proposal. Delivery Center is where we would find methodologies. And I say that plural because you might have a different methodology for a different practice area, so you can have multiple different methodologies in their own templates. Solution Center, where the product literature, if you're representing solutions, would go. Knowledge Center, General Repository. Partner Center, where place where you can provision workspaces for partners to work with. And then Search Center, which is an overall search engine that runs on top of the environment here, be able to easily find content. So let's go into a couple of these centers, and we'll do a quick walkthrough, give you a feel for what these things look like and how they operate. So I just selected Project Center as the first center to go into. And what I'm greeted with here is now my navigation's down the left-hand side of the screen, and it shows me which center I'm in. But here are my different projects that are currently going on, different statuses, and shows me client. Here's the name of the project, what service line or what part of a practice area, status, project lead, start date, and these column headings here are just a group of them that we selected for this environment, as kind of a way to articulate that you can have different types of column data that displayed here. So what I mean by that is that your deployment, you may choose that there's different information that you want to have viewed at this level, which is more important than like a project start date. And we'll get into this in a minute, but there's a whole bunch of other fields out there that you can select from and have displayed in all of these different views. So here's my first project, which is for Space Coast Construction, GCA building. If I want to go in and take a look at all the deliverables and content related to that, I simply click on this link to workspace, and it will open up the workspace that has been provisioned for that particular project. And it may take just a second to paint at your end, but here I've got the name of the project. I can see a description, and then here is where all my project documents go. So this is where my project deliverables, my project documents, my diagrams, status reports, steering committee reports, photos. If you're in an industry that there's a lot of photos being taken, these would be all stored in the project documents area. And you can create folders and subfolders of the content. And then we've also provided a number of different ways of tagging content, so I can tag what kind of content it is. I can also status content, so maybe stuff gets put out here in a draft status, and then it gets moved in to an approval status. And of course we keep track of anything that's modified, when it's been modified, who modified it, all of that. Very easy to get content out into this area. So if and you probably won't be able to see this window because it's not a window I'm sharing, but I can literally go out and I'm just opening a Windows Explorer, and I'm going out and I'm finding a document, and I'm dragging and I'm dropping it into my document list here. So the document I grabbed was a document called sample Word, and so I literally just dragging and dropping it from my my file share or my local hard drive out into this area. There's also tools that come with the environment to synchronize content, online with offline, so you can carry it around, work on it, have it sync back up into these different libraries as well. So if I move down, some of the other things, again, I'm on a project workspace for an individual project, which is this GCA building. And so some other information that we automatically put on this is, here's some of the tags, or what we call metadata that we're carrying as it relates to a particular project. What service line it's in, when we want it, what type of billing, status, and so forth. If there are any content or contacts, either our contacts or client contacts, this is a place where you can put those, so anybody who's going out there and looking at a particular project can easily see, okay, who are the key folks from the client side that are involved in this, and kind of what their job titles or what their roles are. If we've used the staffing center to request a role, here, for instance, we needed a supervisor for this project, some information about, when the dates were, who requested it. Here's a high-level project calendar. So this is meant to be, kind of major milestones or general items as it relates to a particular project. It's it's something you can synchronize with your Outlook as well. And so things like steering committee meetings, project shutdown dates, project go lives, major milestones that you want everybody on the project to be able to see when these milestones are, and give them that viewpoint. You can put individual tasks also here. There is a mechanism to be able to synchronize tasks with Microsoft Project, if that's what you're using in the business, and be able to do that. Also, project links. These might be links to other important areas that you want project members to be able to quickly get access to. Client invoices. If we're using this environment to actually upload and store invoices, you can tag an invoice to which client and which project it's a part of, and it would show up here. We don't have any invoices in here today. And then also partner invoices. So if you're working with third parties or subs, and you want to store the partners' invoices here, so whoever the project manager is, you can come to one place and get those. So the idea is having a workspace for the project that has a lot of information that's valuable to people who want to see and work on the documents related to it, who want to see what the milestones are, who want to maybe put in some key tasks that somebody else perform. And the great news is, once content's out here, all the great features that you can do in SharePoint, for instance, co-authoring. You could have 5 people opening up the sample Word document at the same time and working on it at the same time, versus having to email that document around to those 5 people. They can actually do what's called co-authoring. You can easily share documents both internally and externally, so that people who need to get access to it, even people who don't have a seat or subscription to this, you can share documents to external folks using anonymous links, or require them to do a Windows Live sign-in to get access. So there's lots of ways to get out there and share the content, work with the content with the people that need it the most. Who are the people or the types of industries that we're seeing the most traction in right now? Well, again, I think the common denominator is companies that kind of at the core of what they do, they're dealing with projects and resources and deliverables and bids, proposals, and so we find companies that are consulting firms that are out there doing, whether it's business consulting projects, IT consulting projects, companies in the construction industry. If you think about a general contractor and all the documents that from licenses and permits and field things that have to be stored, engineering firms, another strong set of companies looking at solutions like this, IT services. And then even you have companies that maybe it's a manufacturing company by nature, but they do a bunch of projects internally, whether it's IT projects or maybe they're building a new warehouse or a new facility, and so having something to help them be able to manage both internal, all the content related to internal projects. So that's kind of the common core of organizations that we are attracting and are doing business with. And what's the value? So if you're looking at the overall Office 365 platform for the business, you're looking for return on that investment, because obviously there's money involved in subscribing to it. So one of the things is clients are getting a higher return simply because they're able to leverage all of the pieces of the puzzle. So if you're not able to leverage the SharePoint component but you own it, it's kind of a lost money. So our solution gives them the ability to improve the ROI by using all the pieces of the puzzle, and then be able to do that in a pretty quick and timely fashion, meaning that you're not talking months here to go deploy a solution. Literally, we have some clients that have moved to Office 365 that we've had ServicePoint and SharePoint up and running even before their email is fully migrated and deployed. Simply because it's very simple to go provision an area, lay our templates on it, and begin working on doing kind of the final configuration work and then the upload of the content if you want to migrate content. And then overall user satisfaction. It's a fairly common problem that SharePoint has out there in the marketplace. Great functionality, but end users struggle just a bit, and so this gives them an intuitive, predefined user interface that's understandable. They know where to go. They know how to use it. They don't need to have SharePoint skills to be successful with it. So we see a lot of increase in user satisfaction.